Hey yo, this is your boy Mac 11. This one's for the road.
Yo, I go by the name of Melody Napoleon, and this is one for the road.
This is Race, and this is one for the road. Shout out to TNC. Let's get it.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of One for the Road. We just had a killer session here at Culture Sound Studio, and we got two legends in the building, two OGs in the game, 20 years deep, both of them. We got the big man himself. We got Frak in the house, big Fraksha. We also have Scotty Minister. So yeah, big ups to you guys. Appreciate you guys coming through, spending some time kicking back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mate.
I want to call myself a youngin', but you know, we're here, man. We're here to talk. We're here to talk. We're here to make something for the youngins too, to let them know what's going on. So yeah, thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having us through, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, safe.
Yeah.
For real.
Long overdue.
Yeah, man, for real, man. You guys killed it 100%. So just for the people tuning in that may not know too much about you guys, do you want to just start off by talking a little bit about your background, how you got into rap, how you got into music, in a sense, and just sort of let everyone know what the background story is of your Scotty Festival.
Yeah. Well, started writing bars in like 02, 03. Met Frak in 03, 04.
Oh, 03, yeah.
Yeah, 03. Formed a crew called 9 High. Done a bunch of shows in England. Must have done about 50 or 60 shows up and down the country. A couple of releases, 2 mixtapes. We did a couple of other album joints. We weren't ready to write the album. Then we come to Australia in 06.
Yep.
Come out on a holiday, really, just a 1-year visa. Frak had moved out here. And me and Byron and SA, Brinks, so we had the whole crew. We all come out here for a year. Long story short, we just stayed. We're still here. Literally, was 16, 17 years later or something like that. So yeah.
Now we're citizens.
Now we're citizens.
Now we're
we actually
citizens.
Australians now. We've got 2 passports like James Bond and everything, bruv.
Yeah, we're
2 passports. So no matter where we go, and we're always home.
Always willing out different passport.
Always got the quick
No
thing.
queuing, no queuing.
Yeah. Electric passport too. So you just put it in the machine. It looks at you, goes, "Yeah, welcome home." Do that on both sides.
Yeah.
You got the cheat code. You did your thing, man. So did you guys like know each other before you came to Australia?
Yeah. So that's what. So we spent a couple years, like
3 years.
2-3 years in England working on stuff. So we met in like 2003. Came here in 2006.
Yeah.
So we spent like three years as really like he says, we released 2 mixtapes, did a ton of shows, kind of really cemented that kind of a live performance on how to perform live, I guess,
We cut our teeth essentially.
Yeah.
We cut our teeth with those first few years up and down doing shows and whatnot. So by the time we came here, we were already quite polished. We already had a whole repertoire. We had a whole set ready to go, 40 minutes. We were lucky enough, one of Frak's contacts, the guy called DJ Flagrant, he had put on a tour.
Yeah, Flagrant, yeah.
Yeah, and we went on a tour with him and Bliss and SO were doing their thing at the time. That was like 06. Just went on a little tour in Victoria. So
you're already performing in the UK.
Yeah.
And
we did a ton of shows all around the country,
50,
like
60 shows up and down the country every weekend.
So it's like you're born for making music and rap. Like, how did that start? Did you feel like you had just stories to tell? Is that what drove you to making music?
Myself, I've always, and Scotty as well, I've always been around music, from our family and stuff as well. And so music's always been a big part of, my household growing up, obviously not rap or whatever, my dad's parents were like 70s rock and stuff, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. So I'm always around it, and from young, like I was into like, alternative musics and like cultures and stuff, and I was just drawn to eventually making music. It was always going to happen, I guess. And yeah, I think when I first heard like, I guess Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, that really got me into rap. We're from that era sort of thing, and then hearing UK artists like Skinny Man and Rodney P and people like that doing rap music but with an English accent. That's what kind of like then was like the clicked, like, oh shit, you could do this as well. Because before then it was just like, it was
like a movie.
Yeah, it was like a movie,
It wasn't real because it wasn't in your environment.
It took someone else to do it first, then for you to go, oh wow, you can do it like in your own accent. You don't have to be American.
Open that door up.
Yeah, because my first rap I ever wrote was I did it in an American accent. Like, I didn't know any different. Like, I'd write a rap, like a Mobb Deep rap, talking about shooting and guns and stuff, and silliness. Never was going to do anything with it, but then hearing UK rappers, you know, some of those guys that I mentioned before, that was what really, like said, opened up and said, oh, you know, you can do this and you don't have to put on a silly accent.
Yeah. Cool.
For me, I was probably listening to rap for maybe 2 or 3 years, the Wu-Tang and the New York shit, and then all of a sudden all these started hearing about all this English rap and jest and all these English acts, and then that was when it was really took off around 99, 98. I first started hearing English rap.
And you didn't want to stay in the UK because the scene was popping off? It was just like you guys are just feeling it and just wanted to travel and just see the world, and then...
Music weren't a focus like that for us. It's like, at that point in time, it was not something that people would consider as a viable career path. It's not something that it's not doing it for any monetary gain. It's purely a hobby. For example, you have fuckers who fly like kites or aeroplanes on the weekend, and that's their thing, or they go drag racing, that's their thing. For us, it was rapping. That was our thing. So even if it cost you money, you didn't care, because that was your hobby or whatnot, whatever you want to call it. That was our interest. So it was never about that. So coming to Australia and being able to rap, traveling the world and going to a whole other country was a big thing for me. Not coming here to do music. Coming here first was the big thing. Music was just always going to happen no matter where I was. And because I was never interested in pursuing, like, I never considered, I want to achieve this or I want to achieve that. Never considered that with music my whole life. It was just something I do. If that other things happen, cool. But was never chasing nothing. So to come to Australia wasn't like we were giving up the potential to work in the English scene. I just didn't really care that much. I was just making music.
Yeah. So there was no. Like the most you could aspire to be was to be like a you know, big name in an underground culture, like, you know what I mean,
for your talent.
And you know, that was, so there wasn't like never thought, well, let's do this and we'll you know, make a career out of it.
Nobody had made P out of it at that point in time. Maybe Roots Maneuver with Witness to Fitness, because that was on radio and I'd seen it on TV.
Australia was just a good opportunity. Like it was like, you know, somewhere different, and then
on a holiday.
And then the fact that I'd met some people like in the music thing was like a bonus. Then it was like, if we go, then we can do some music. Like we're going to go anyway. Like sick, but if we go, we've got these people here who like what we do, or you know, and we can blag our way in a bit.
So how were you received, you know, in the music scene when you came to Australia? Because, you know, Australians love people from overseas, especially with different sounds.
It was mad receptive. Like, from the straight away, like it was like such a big like culture shock from coming from playing like London and stuff, where it's very standoffish, very different. Really got to prove yourself, like, you know what I mean. There's a million like talented people, like, you know, and there's a lot of talented people over here, but because of we were from another country, like automatically you're going to stand out a little bit. Yeah. And people were really into a UK rap at the time.
Yeah, UK rap was big at that point as well. So
and there was like, you know, there's a big kind of there's a lot of similarities between the two scenes, even though they might have sounded different, but they're both like, we're trying to find their own identity in like a genre that was, you know, Black American, essentially, you know.
You had a lot of competition over there. As you're saying, like a lot of people rapping over in UK. There was the scene bubbling. So you guys kind of went through the gauntlet in a sense, you know, and got your skills up. Like you said, performance-wise.
Yeah, when we
come to Australia, you really stand out because you guys are confident already.
Like the scene you see now, like where it's got an identity, you know, and there's ways of people making money, and there's businesses around it. Like none of that was like kind of there back then. It was just So when you first touched down, it was a community sort of based thing, based on the love of the music and the culture. You know what I mean? It wasn't really a business.
Everybody really knew everybody.
Everyone go to laundry on Monday nights. Like, would you believe on a Monday night, laundry was sold out every week, and it was like people from all over Melbourne would be there. From all the outer suburbs would come in as well, and you know, you get all different styles.
Was it mostly grime music?
There was no grime, no.
But you guys were bringing grime over.
That's another thing. That's a slightly separate thing. For sure. To touch on that, people did not know what they were hearing. It was duff as far as they were concerned. They heard grime and they just had zero understanding. They used to hear boom bap, not grime.
That's a whole.
It was a whole other thing, mate. It was basically duff.
And the rap scene wasn't really like they when you play live, people would appreciate because they see you rapping, they appreciate rapping, they appreciate the energy. Yeah. But playing those kind of beats to a lot of people in the rap scene outside of shows, like people weren't really very receptive to it.
That, and then definitely don't want to rhyme on it.
So
how the fuck are you going to rhyme on that?
We kind of like
I've seen your
140,
ciphers,
yeah,
like your
it's different.
like. There's just this. You channel into something else that people can't tap into.
Slightly
What does it feel
different.
like when
Now
you're
it's
really
different.
when you're really spitting? Like,
Back then it was different. Now it's different. Now everybody can rap hard. Being able to spit hard now is not a big deal. Everyone can do it.
Oh, I
They
don't
all
know.
grew
Mate,
up-
a lot- not-
you
not-
grew up watching fantastic rappers. People grew up watching Gets, and now they do what they do, and it's not that
but
impressive
still,
because we know where you got it.
Yeah, but still, I don't think it's. I don't think that's as prevalent as you think. Maybe like a lot of the.
You don't reckon?
No. There's
There's
people.
loads of
There's
people
lots
who
of people. Lots of people can rap, but like actually just put them in front of like we were talking about before, like putting like on a radio with a beat and just have them rap rather outside of a studio.
Yeah.
I think is a lot of people are not. It's not as much of a focus these days.
I suppose what it would be.
That's
I
why
would
you
say
see
is-
That's why you see a lot of poor live performers, because they haven't really taken the time to actually learn how to rap. Like they can write raps and they can come up with cool bars, but they haven't. But they've gone straight into a studio, a load of studio effects, and you can make. Look, Chopper made an album.
I think the
It sounded
internet's probably
didn't he?
helped you see a lot more talent out there. But in terms of the
feel like
majority of the population
I
of
feel like the
artists, I
floor-
don't think they can all do what you guys do. You guys have, really can hone into some energy that's just different and keep going. And
I feel like now the floor. I feel like the floor's raised to the point that a lot of people could rap on a grime beat. They could do it well.
sure.
Percentage-wise, way more than could when we first arrived.
Oh,
in
yeah, for
07,
sure, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just
yeah.
from like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
baseline point,
yeah.
and that's what I was saying. Like people can really rap now. Like a lot of people. It's not just a handful. But one thing I will say, back then in 07, all the artists in the grime scene all had an individual sound. Every one of them, all the artists sounded different, and you knew who you were listening to. Now I hear people rap, and everyone's competing with a very similar style. There's less uniqueness to it. There's less individual creativity and more replication of what already worked.
There's like
That makes sense.
there's like a few artists. There's like Alex Jones, Husky, Cursor, 1-4, and they're kind of the nucleus of who everyone copies.
They've got a blueprint and everyone's taken a base formula.
Do you think that's going back to like the reason of like how to make a living out of music? They're probably just trying to
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, there's a whole other.
That's another- yeah, that's a whole-
There's so many different pressures now.
Yeah, like I think but the fact that you can make a living, it draws in people who
Yep.
maybe wouldn't care so much if they couldn't make a living.
If you took them back to 06, 07, they would be another one of those acts you see for 3 minutes and then they're gone. You never hear from them again. Next time you see them, they're working as a fucking accountant or something. But it's for real, man. Like these people, they wouldn't last in the old school when it was really driven off love and passion. They wouldn't last because now there's a money fucking spoils everything, man. And the second that you start getting down that avenue, you just can't question what people are in it for anymore. And I look at it like now, people are not emotionally attached to their music anymore. People are making what they think's going to work for a 4-second TikTok reel so they can spin virals and get 1 billion streams and tell their parents how they made it now.
Let's be real, it's probably like 7 seconds.
7 seconds, like, I feel like, I don't know, there's less emotionally charged music. Like, for example, if someone insults their song, they're like, oh, it's not for you, that's cool, and they move on. Whereas if someone insults your song and you fucking put your heart into that, you feel a bit hurt, blood.
So what are the Afrobeats artists have been saying? Because they're like at the forefront of the new music, and they're saying that they use TikTok for just like testing the ground on the song, and if it does well, then they turn it into a tune and they push
That's
it.
a mad method.
You know what I mean?
I see with something like Afrobeats, which is there's so much dancing around it as well, and like choreography, dancing and things like that,
So
and
much.
like
The vibe,
because it's kind of it's like dancehall in that respect. People will come up with dances just for the songs. I totally see it, and that's Afrobeats. Like I'm talking about it's
I'm
a
talking about music, yeah.
Yeah, if we like music in general, like then use TikTok. I find it very weird though for hip hop artists to use it. Like I think hip hop's just a very different thing and I think a lot of the integrity of it is perhaps lost.
Integrity's a good word.
That's what we're doing. Take one. Essentially, we're bringing that together because it's like just to really showcase that part of hip hop, that real. You've got a story to tell. You guys came in today, and you just walked into the mic and you just spat and that's it. And it's like that's something in its own. And I think you guys have a lot more credibility, especially in 2023, when you said attention spans are so small that people really do want to connect with some real artists and talent and real stories because you're telling real stories. So not everyone, I don't think everyone can do exactly what you guys can do from what I see, because the Afrobeat artists, you know, they're hardly performing on stage. You know, they'll take off their shoes and they'll just dance with the crowd, and it's a whole different thing.
Yes, that's
whereas you guys
that's a whole different thing. That's a real collective vibe. Everyone is really riding together. Whereas I don't know. Rap's changed a lot over the last few years.
Like I'm very wary and wary of coming across like an old guy moaning about, you know, what younger people do, and it's like it's definitely generational. But you know, I can't sit here and knock it. It's like, you know, who knows what I'll be doing maybe if I was that age, but well, I'd like to think I wouldn't be on TikTok, you know.
It's kind of like a necessity now to kind of just have like someone even doing it for you to kind of manage it, you know what I mean? That's why that's why I'm doing what I do, because I just see talent, you know, and I'm like, you guys need to tell your story essentially, and that's what you do. It's a link up, you know what I mean? But you guys have been linking up with just artists, it looks like, you know. You guys are like, oh, mad tunes, let's get a mad song together. And I think that, you know, for the ones growing up, it's like, cool, you can say a bit of both, a bit of balance, you know what I mean? Like, have your tunes out, but also it's more than just the music, it's also the industry. How do you feel about like labels and bigger conglomerates and that kind of thing? Have you had much work with or dealings with labels at all, and any experiences at all?
As soon as it starts becoming the music business, it kind of loses interest for me, you know what I mean? As soon as you start talking about it in terms of business, like, and I know a lot of people have been like, will hear me say that and be like, oh no, fuck that, we want to make money off what we do, and that's fair enough. That's just not what I'm interested in. I hate having to deal with like the business side of things, and I just want to make music. Like, I just enjoy it. Like, it's not.
It should be like that.
Know, I don't want to have to. It's stressful, like, as well. You know, it's not. It doesn't interest me. Anytime I have to deal with any kind of corporate business side of the music, it's fucking bullshit. Like, and it just turns me right off. You know, and
it's funny, you know, like as an artist, it's you need to put 100% of your energy into the creative side of it. You know. And when you've got to think about all these other aspects, it just takes away from your 100%. It's 5% there, it's 10% there, it's 2% there. It's like, I don't know, artists, just be an artist and let other people do what they're good at and do what they're good at. But again, if you're not financially viable for a big label, they're not going to come anywhere near you anyway.
I think in this day and age as well, if you've got talking about labels though, if you're a young artist and you've got a buzz and you're doing well, you don't need a fucking label. All they're going to do is rort money out of you. Like, they might be able to get you on certain Spotify playlists and things like that, but you know, like the way the music industry has changed so much. Like these days, like you don't need. It used to be you almost had to be on a major to get into certain places, to get on certain bills, that etc. You know, doesn't work that way now. People can build massive buzz on their own without a label. What's the label going to come in and do? Like upload your music to Spotify for you and then take 50% or more, or probably more,
or you know, 360 deal
and then try and take money off your gigs and your merch and stuff. Like, artists can really make these young kids can really make a living if they connect with their audience and get a buzz. There's no need for them to join a label. Just make.
But would you rather make 10% of 50 million?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, 100% of a million.
Look at you know, like I can see a distribution deal is different. Like, you know, perhaps, you know, if you want to sell physicals and things like that and get like someone like Cursor, for example, who's always been independent. I believe he has a distribution deal with a label,
right?
And he would have made an absolute fortune doing all that independent, all those, you know, for the past decade, you know, selling all those records, doing all those shows himself, compared with some artists who you might see here on a label and they're paying money back, and like they might seem like they're huge and they're making a lot of money, but they're going to be paying a lot of money back for a long time. Like I know of artists who they don't, you know, they have release something and they don't even know what their label's spending on them. You know, I know people who work in, you know, poster companies who tell me, oh, so and so, you know, their label just hit me up for a run of these posters. We're charging them this much, and it's like they don't know that's coming out of their pocket at the end of the day. They're going to have to pay that back.
Those advances are really like
and the costs with running everything out.
At the time, the young kids were getting a little advance, and then that'll change their life.
Go to the Arias and pay like fucking you know, a few $100 for a table. You know, for you and your label. Who's paying for that? You're paying for that. Like you know.
Yeah, it's definitely possible for people to succeed and do what they want to do and achieve a level of, you know, if artists are real smart and they've got that buzz, they really don't need the label. As long as they keep their head in the game, don't get too sidetracked with all of the other things on the weekends and whatever. People got to live their life and that, but people can get sidetracked too easy. If someone just keep it on the track. For some artists that have really got a buzz, they just got to keep it on the track. But they don't. How many artists you seen crash and burn?
Because life hits you.
Life gets in the way of everything, yeah? They just got to keep it on the track. And for young people, it's very hard to do that. Until you've got enough life experience, it's hard to do that shit, man. I
think you can you can go so big overnight now. Like, you know,
because look at TikTok, eh?
You know, like coming back to TikTok, you know, you put something out on TikTok or something catches
like
a buzz.
But then
before you know it, like you're absolutely huge.
But then that artist then finds themselves in a weird position where they had a massive amount of success off their first thing before they even really cut their teeth. Now they're feeling like they got to do better or they failed. So now they're constantly playing catch up their whole career, and they may never get to experience the euphoria that we get when we sit back and listen to an EP on the big speakers in the studio and go, yeah, bloods, I'm real happy.
Yeah, it's like a gradual increase of happiness. Yeah,
if they get 10 million views, which they got to make the song, put it out, run it past everyone, see Wagwan before they really know how they feel about it. Whereas we ain't worried about that. When you've had a certain massive amount, it puts other pressures, external pressures. And, you know, people expect things from you, you know, especially if you've been paid a lot of money for other things and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those big labels,
No, so
and they don't care about your music as much as what you do.
Yeah, they're accountants and lawyers, essentially.
They're like it's the music
corporate
business. It's there to make money. It's not, but the art is secondary. Like, you know.
Yeah, I personally think, you know, it's like good to use their resources, but as you said, to know the game, know yourself, and, you know, use them for a particular reason, but don't rely on them for everything. Because they have the establishment, they have the capital, they have the ability to playlist you, they have the ability to pay 20 grand for a music video budget, so the director doesn't have to stress about his life. You know what I mean? So there's money there. It's just like, how do we, you know, kind of integrate? And I think, you know, maybe platforms like Body Bag Media really helps out. You know what I mean? You know, other platforms that just kind of bridge the gap. Maybe that's the way.
What will save a lot of people? A good manager. Seriously, a good manager will handle everything, and they can just focus on being artists. That would be, if I was ever going to give someone advice who's really got the potential to do something, get a solid manager, someone who you can trust, really trust.
Most people just make their mate the manager, though. Like,
not always.
And that doesn't always work.
If you've got one mate who's really,
if you've got a mate who's switched on,
right mate, like
it's a big role though. It's almost like a figure, like a parental figure almost. Because, you know, I've heard managers there, you know, hey, get up in the morning, brush your teeth, you know, go out, and
life coach. Be a manager and a life coach, because some people need it, you know.
Yeah, you guys, you know,
a good manager will handle all the stuff that will drain the life force out of an artist.
Would you ever consider, you know, not stopping music force, but would you ever, you know, go into different roles within the music industry? Is that something that, you know, you might consider with all your knowledge and wisdom?
Thought about it, like management. I'm very critical. It would take it have to be really.
Maybe someone's watching now and they're like, "That's what I need."
It would really have to be the right artist. You know what I mean? Like I'm really critical. Like, and I will judge. Like, if it's not right for me, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
it's exactly what you.
Yeah.
What you think it needs to be out of them, like their story? Is it like their story, or is it like their genuinity? No,
but we have to share similar values and outlooks on things. You know, if they just want someone, if they, you know, like, gets back to the whole business sort of thing, and that would never be my concern. So as much as the making the good quality music and, you know,
what if they came to you, you know, and they were, you know, rapping like an American accent, and, you know,
we both know the answer to that. We both know the answer.
Well, that's why they're doing that. I say, if you speak one way
to your mum and
you rap another way,
imagine going up
to your mum. That's a good.
Well, if you go up to your mum and start speaking an American accent, she'd say, "What the hell are you doing, you fucking idiot?
What are you doing, you know? It's my dinner, mom.
Hey, mom. Hi,
mommy. Where's
Mom.
my fucking dinner, mom?
Hey,
Right?
you got a meatloaf, Mom.
But some of their
someone-
mums speak with a Caribbean accent or an American accent. They speak that way at home, and then they are confused.
If someone's parents have got
Yeah, look,
that
yeah,
accent
that's.
and it
I
comes
don't know.
out in them, I can
We're
understand.
talking about different things there.
But if
Then,
someone's just
like I'm
from
talking
down the
about,
road,
But they're born in Australia.
and they just sound like they're from a whole other country. I look at it like this. That's all cool and that. But if I can't believe your accent, how can I believe anything you say? If I can't believe anything you say, then your word is not bond. I can't believe in your music because you're not really talking truth. You're just talking like you need a fucking TikTok hit.
Yeah.
If that's how you speak at home, if you speak like that, that's cool. Like, that's how you speak.
Cool.
It's people who switch up between two accents or they're trying to, they're putting on a particular,
Whole other country.
Southern rap is big, so let's do
other country.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
which state are you from as well? Like, some of the accents switch around. There's New York to Atlanta.
Wild.
No one in America wants to hear that. They don't want to hear someone putting on like pretending to be a character. Same as no one wants to hear anyone rapping in an English accent like that's here in Australia rapping in an English accent.
I will say,
no one in England wants to hear that.
fairly often. I will say I've started hearing so much lingo.
It makes you, as an English person, it makes you cringe. It's like,
But you know what? It does. On one hand, it makes me cringe, but then on the other hand, it makes me go, wow, man.
like imagine if I
They've
started
done
rapping.
so well. Man, have done so well from the hood in England.
Yeah.
They've got kids in outer suburbs in Australia speaking and sound like them. Do you know how well man have done to permeate?
Yeah, but I don't want to hear it though. Like I'm saying, it's like imagine does no one over
like an
here
achievement
wants
for
no
me.
one here wants to hear me and Scotty rapping in an Australian accent.
Nah.
You
should fucking do it. Funny, just one time. Fuck y'all.
Everyone in the comments, if you want to
How
see
you going?
Big Frag
How you
and
going, Cam?
Scotty Minister.
Oath.
How you
Scotty.
going?
Oath.
Hey, we love it. Hey, honestly, yeah, bro.
And I love
Scotty.
and going back to
Scotty,
that.
boys.
Hey,
I love hearing-
Australians love the accent, man.
But I love hearing an Australian accent. Like,
Yeah.
I like Australian lingo on a
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
I like when people
Yeah,
drop
yeah, it goes
real
hard.
Australian
Yeah.
slang, like words that are rare words.
Yeah.
I like that. I'd rather hear that than people talking like English slang.
Because
And
you
I
guys
get
are
it.
super authentic and real, straight to the bone. Like, you guys are right in there in the booth, just spitting hot flame, like, boom.
I don't know, I feel like people should just be a reflection of what they're seeing and what they're involved
Have you
with and
guys
what they're-
ever used autotune before in a studio?
No,
fuck, as a joke. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever used it.
as a joke.
you
A
ever
while ago
use
on
it?
it.
I have definitely pushed hooks and various
I've got no
types of
issue with
vocals,
it,
and
yeah.
I've had the sound engineer smooth me out because I'm not a singer.
Hmm.
But I can write a hook and I know how it should sound. I just don't have the vocal range to do it, so I'll accept that and I don't do
That's
it.
the thing. If you're in the studio, take full advantage of whatever studio stuff you have.
when the engineer knows
but
what
as
he's
long as
doing.
you can perform it live,
Yes.
that's what it comes down
Yeah.
to. You know,
Yeah.
like you should be able to perform anything you record live. Like obviously you can't do the auto tune, make it sound like that live unless you're using a mic with an effect on it or something. But
So how do you feel
know.
about an artist like Travis Scott then?
it's not my thing. Like, you know what I mean? I've got no issue with it. It just doesn't. It's kind of background music. Like, you know, for me, like it's not. It's just, like it's a generational thing. It just doesn't connect for me.
Yeah, it's
you know,
not- it's
I've
not
got
my
no
thing.
issue with autotune though because I listen. Dancehall's my favorite type of music. Like I listen, you know, and that's autotune's fucking all over dancehall. You know what I mean? And I love it. So I've got no issue with the autotune. It's just not. If I'm hearing rappers, I don't really want to hear too many people rap. I don't, you know. I don't mind hearing it in songs and stuff, but it's not something I'm going to do.
Are there any other genres that you like? Like
Yeah.
rock music or
Yeah, I love drum and bass, jungle,
drum and bass? Yeah.
you know,
I
garage.
didn't really listen to much rap and to be honest.
Yeah, I just dance loads of dancehall.
Listen to fucking old shit R&B from the 50s and 60s. Isley Brothers, weird like triplet patterns to the beat, so it's not even like a standard 4, 8, 12 square beat. It's on triplets, strange old 60s funk and stuff like that. I don't really listen to much rap, and the reason is anything I listen to and I see and around me, it absorbs into the music, man. Whether people like it or not, if you're listening to rap all day, your shit's gonna sound like what you've been listening to, and I don't give a fuck who they are and what they think. If you're listening to rap, your music's coming out sounding like what you're listening to. You're a human being, you absorb your environment. If you're around a toxic soil, you're going to get sick. You absorb your environment in every capacity, mentally, everything. So by listening, like he listens to a lot of dancehall, like that ain't coming through in his rap. his rap is his rap, how he wants to rap, how he feels. Ignorance as well. I know you'd want to
got some dance moves too, man. Come on, man.
My dream would be to do a tune with Vibes Cartel, but at the same time, I almost feel like I would never do it because it would never work. It would never work. Like, what am I? Well, yeah, like what am I going to rap about with Vibes Cartel? Like, it just wouldn't work as much as I'd love it. Like,
it might work. You know, like it. You know, you never know because you guys you just rap and it's just like it's so genuine. It just comes through anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I love. Have you heard of drone music?
Yeah,
I've heard of drones.
No, I've been listening to this thing called drone music recently. It's kind of like it's like film soundtracks, sort of soundscapes,
nice. Like Hans Zimmer.
I don't know,
like the Matrix soundtracks or Lord of the Rings soundtracks.
I listen to this group called Blank Mass, BLANCK Mass.
Yeah,
and it's like just mad like soundscapes, like no drums, just like sounds like yoga music or something sometimes.
God. No.
But yeah, I put that on like when I'm driving at night time with the dark. It's a bit spooky.
So you guys were, you got to get into it. So you guys are rapping about a few topics. You're just like, you're touching on just being real, making the right choices, just kind of manning up. You need to delve into a little bit about what those tunes are about and the message that you kind of get across. I know you like to talk about it, but since we're here, just for some people that, you know, sometimes the lyrics that go past their head because you guys are just in it. You know, what are you touching on there?
Like my two tunes, I guess, is like a reflection of what we've all just been saying just now. You know, just that, you know, being yourself. You know, not trying to be a character, not being like, you know, playing dress ups, like, you know, pretend. You know, a lot of people they play up to an image of what they think rap is, or you know, they don't. Or what lifestyle they need to portray in the music that isn't really necessarily them, you know, or you know,
real thing as well, man. Like,
buy a tech fleece tracksuit and think they're a driller, like, or something, you know. It's just a bit.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
like just dressing up.
Well, apart from potentially getting yourself in some trouble, like
you ain't built for.
Yeah.
Above all,
it's just
like, you know,
it's just a bit.
Stay in your lane, like
hip hop comes from a
stay in your lane.
Stay in your fucking lane. Just be you.
Yeah, hip hop's like, you know, it's all about, as far as I'm concerned, you know, integrity and you know, representing a real reality. You know, you'll never hear me rap about like doing crimes or, you know, being a hard cunt or pulling out a knife or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because it's not me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so you need to. I feel you have to represent who you are. Like, and if you don't, like, I just got not really an interest to me. It's not. You know, it's just.
Yeah,
you know, fictional.
It's
horses for courses. Other people feel different, and they don't mind, and they'll, you know, and if that's what you're into, then that's what you're into. But me personally, I feel it's all become a bit cosplay, the rap scene.
Everything's for sale today too. That's another thing I hate. Everything's for sale, mate. Nothing's sacred anymore, man, and the music certainly ain't sacred anymore. You think it's like, I don't know. I just feel like everything's for sale, man. And a lot of people are okay with that. They're all right with it because they've come up in that environment. So it's completely normal for everything to be for sale. Whereas we old school dudes, I'm born in the 80s, man. Like, we had some mad fucking morals taught to us. Like, some things are sacred, man. Some things are not for everyone to be privy to, you know? Like a private life. I'm quite big on the private life, to be honest. Like, there's some things are private life because that's your private life. Like, don't talk about everything. I talk about most things. Definitely talk about the way you see the world and what you feel is correct and whatnot. But there's also some things that leave out of music because that's private life. It's not for music. You know, some subject
barriers are dissolving too much, and it's like, so everything's for sale.
Yeah,
you'll film things that shouldn't be out there.
Everything is on show. Like, nah, this ain't an episode of fucking MTV, Fly on the Wall, Big Brother, Blood Clot. Nah, we'll put out our music from time to time, and you might see a pic here and there, but ultimately, you know, like a lot of things is still private life.
Who's your music for?
Firstly, for myself. Just half the time you just say things like some of the music I've had that has had the biggest response, or people have messaged me and said like, this really helped me get through certain times. Didn't write that shit for no one but myself. Just a quick reminder, because as time progresses, senses numb and feelings wither, and you forget the intensity that you went through at that moment in time. So when you write that shit into a song, it translates, and then you never forget. And then I feel like it helps you build, and then you can move past it and push forward. And then other people message you and say shit like, you changed my life, or something. You changed your own life. You just didn't know how to do it, maybe.
Sure.
This
it's a
triggered
message.
you.
Yeah.
This triggered you to help you do it, and now you feel like whatever. No, I've had quite a lot of messages, random days. You just get up, do your normal thing and that, quickly check the usual, get a message from someone. It's like, mad. I actually affected someone's life today. That's kind of cool. Like, I wasn't,
the whole trajectory, possibly.
and that's again to do with like a reflection of where we are with life and all of that. We do what we do, and if it works for other people, then cool. But ultimately, the music is made for us. There's been a few songs every now and again. You'll write a song which is aimed for people. Like I wrote a song called "Out to You." That was out to the people listening. Obviously, that was a direct song. By and large, it's usually for self.
So
for me, anyway.
Yeah, for sure. No, respect.
Yeah, I don't think about it at all. Yeah, I've never just make it because I enjoy it. Like I guess, and if other people like it, wicked. Like,
They do. They do.
I think
millions of people love your music, man.
I think as soon as you start catering,
it's not some
to another trying to cater for people, it can get a bit dangerous, and it can be sometimes it can be quite obvious.
Maybe not cater, but consider other people.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. If that's I don't know. It's just not something I've ever thought about really. Like
I like it.
I think you guys definitely consider other people because your music is truthful.
It might maybe
respectful.
second guess things, It
feels like that. You're not trying to. It doesn't feel like, for me, it doesn't feel like you're trying to like make people feel a certain way to get a reaction, to get a viral moment.
You said before about some people make music, put it out, get a feeler, and then they'll push forward with that song. I don't want to know what people think of the song, because as soon as I put that song out, I never listen to it again. I don't give a shit about it. I don't even want to promote it. I just want to go and work on my next.
You don't listen to it again?
No.
Wow. Yeah.
Why? I spent 6 months listening to it and refining it and getting it right. I put it out. I don't want to think about that.
Promoting your music is
I don't
the
want to
worst.
promote that shit, bro.
I hate doing that.
I want to go and write more music. I want to go and create more. Like, get back into...
none of what we're saying will be good for you if you want to make money in the music industry.
Don't follow us. We have not made money to be following.
You're still looking fresh. You guys are fresh though. You feel me? You're always, pulling up, doing your thing. So you guys have got an EP coming out. Let everyone know a little bit about it.
June 2nd.
It should be out by the time this interview drops, I would have thought.
Cool.
June the 2nd next week.
Spotify, all that.
It's called 50/50 EP, which basically is, it's a couple of reasons for that. One is, it's 50/50, half me, half him, it's back to back. And the other one is obviously I used to have the night called 50/50 Grime Night. And, kind of thought, it embodies that kind of energy that we used to have at those nights, just like high energy, grime, bars, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? There's no dicking around with it. There's no
proper grime beats.
So where can they find the music? Where is it all
it's called iTunes, Spotify, or the normal spots,
the usual places.
Wherever you
Any
find
music videos coming out?
Yeah, we got one drop for the track called Frauds, which will be on drop on June the 2nd on Body Bag.
Word up, shout out Body Bag Media.
We'll have a couple little promo things here and there, maybe a little sign on TMC.
Yeah, sign on the one take.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Culture Sound, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, I appreciate you guys coming through and taking the time to have a chat with myself. It's good to see you guys. It's been about a year now, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it's about that.
And doing the first One for the Road, which is now One for the Road podcast. So big ups, man. Appreciate the energy. Yeah,
sweet, mate. It's good to come back, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. So man, we'll lock in another time hopefully, and man, all the best for you guys, and peace out to you.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.
Safe, G.